This is Mr. Shinde Achutramrao, working as an assistant professor, Department of Analytical Chemistry, Sanjeevani Mahavidyalaya Chapoli. First of all, I welcome all the BSc first year student to this online lecture. In last lecture, student friends, we have learned about the different terminologies and the what is the sampling. That is, we are dealing with the unit second from the first paper. Name of unit is the preliminary operations in the quantitative analysis. In this, we are dealing with the what is sample. What is the sample? Sample is nothing but a portion of the material taken from the bulk. So, what is the sample? Sample is a portion of the material taken from the consignment and selected in such a way that it possesses the essential characteristics of the bulk. So, such type of portion which is taken from the consignment or bulk which possesses all the essential characteristics of the bulk. So this is nothing but the sample. Next one is a sampling procedure. What is sampling procedure? The succession of steps set up in the specification which ensures that the sample shall possesses the essential characteristics of the bulk. What is sampling procedure? The procedure followed to take a sample in step by step with a what specification to get essential characteristics of the bulk of the sample. Next one is a sampling unit. What is sampling unit? Sampling unit is the minimum size package in the consignment which the sample may represent. As I have already told you in the last lecture that we have given one packet of 100 tablets and we what taken from this packet 1 or 2 tablet. Such type of sampling is known as a sampling unit because the minimum size package in the consignment which the sample may represent, such type of what the unit is known as a sampling unit. Then increment. An increment is a stated amount of the material to be taken. What? Stated amount of the material to be taken. How much amount of material is to be taken for the analysis? Such type of the material is known as the increment or sample unit or sampling unit. That is taken from the sampling unit. Such type of sample, that amount is known as the increment. Gross sample. The sample prepared by mixing the increment. Two or more increment get mixed to get a sample. Such type of sample is known as the gross sample. What is subsample? A smaller sample produced in a specified manner by subdivision of the gross sample. By making subdivision of the gross sample, we will get the sample. That sample is known as a subsample. It has the essential characteristics of the gross sample. Means what? It possesses all the characteristics which is possessed by the gross sample. So such type of sample is known as a subsample. Lastly, that is what the important one is, that an analysis sample, because we are going to analyze, we are the analyst and we are going to analyze the sample. So what is the analysis sample? An accurately weighed amount of the subsample taken by the analyst for test is known as a analysis sample. What is analysis sample? It's an accurately weighed amount of the subsample taken by the analyst for the test. Whatever the amount of sample is taken for the test, such weighed amount of the sample taken for the analysis is known as a analysis sample. Okay, then आपण मागच्या लेक्चरमध्ये सॅम्पलिंगबद्दल काही डेफिनेशन पाहिलं. त्याच्यामध्ये आहे पहिली सॅम्पल कशाला म्हणतो आपण? सॅम्पल एक पोर्शन आहे, एक पार्ट आहे जो आपण बल्क म्हणजे मोठ्या प्रमाणातल्या मटेरियलमधून घेतो आणि त्या मोठ्या प्रमाणात ज्या मटेरियल मोठ्या प्रमाणात जे काही मटेरियल असेल त्या मटेरियलपासून जो पार्ट घेतो, थोडा पार्ट, पण त्या पार्टमध्ये त्याचे पूर्ण गुणधर्म त्या ह्याच्यामध्ये आले पाहिजेत. अशा पोर्शनला, अशा पार्टला आपण काय म्हणतो? त्याला सॅम्पल म्हणतो. दुसरी डेफिनेशन आहे सॅम्पलिंग प्रोसिजर. सॅम्पलिंग प्रोसिजर काय? ही एक प्रोसिजर आहे, स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसिजर आहे. कशाची? एक सॅम्पल घेण्याची, ज्या सॅम्पलमध्ये बल्कचे पूर्ण कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक, बल्कचे मोठ्या प्रमाणात ज्या सॅम्पलमध्ये जे काही त्याचे गुणधर्म असतील ते गुणधर्म या नवीन घेतलेल्या स्मॉल घेतलेल्या सॅम्पलमध्ये यायला पाहिजे. आणि जी काही प्रोसिजर आपण ते सॅम्पल घेण्यासाठी फॉलो करतो त्या प्रोसिजरला आपण सॅम्पलिंग प्रोसिजर म्हणतो. नेक्स्ट आहे इनव्हर्स ऑर पॉप्युलेशन. इनव्हर्स ऑर पॉप्युलेशन कशाला म्हणायचं? तर हे एक बल्क क्वांटिटी ऑफ अ मटेरियल. इट इज द बल्क क्वांटिटी ऑफ द मटेरियल विच इज दॅट इज वॉट बल्क क्वांटिटी ऑफ अ मटेरियल फ्रॉम विच सॅम्पल इज टेकन. इनव्हर्स पॉप्युलेशन कशाला म्हणायचं? ज्याच्यापासून आपण सॅम्पल घेतो, बल्क मटेरियल जे आहे, समजा 1000 टन एखादी वस्तू आहे, एखादी आपण मेटल घ्यायला, एक 10 क्विंटल मेटल आहे, त्याच्यामधला सॅम्पल घेतला आपण, 1 ग्राम मेटल घेतला, त्याचे बल्क जी आहे 10 टन असेल, 10 क्विंटल असेल, हे काय झालं? इनव्हर्स किंवा पॉप्युलेशन झालं. त्याच्यानंतर काय आहे? सॅम्पलिंग युनिट. तर सॅम्पलिंग युनिट कशाला म्हणतो? आपण जे काही युनिट घेतलं, एक पॅकेज दिलेलं आहे, त्याच्या पॅकेजमधलं एक युनिट घेतलं, त्या युनिटला आपण काय म्हणतो? सॅम्पलिंग युनिट. जसं की मी सांगितलं, आपल्याला 100 टॅबलेट दिलेले आहेत, त्या 100 टॅबलेटमधून आपण समजा 2 किंवा 3 टॅबलेट घेतल्या तर त्याला आपण काय म्हणतो? ते सॅम्पलिंग युनिट आहे. पुन्हा इन्क्रिमेंट काय आहे? इन्क्रिमेंट हे एक पोर्शन आहे ज्याच्यामध्ये आपण काय करतो? तर अ स्टेटेड अमाऊंट ऑफ मटेरियल टू बी टेकन फ्रॉम द सॅम्पलिंग युनिट. सॅम्पलिंग युनिटपासून काही काही स्टेटेड अमाऊंट त्याच्यामधून घेतलेला आहे. जसं की आपण 3 टॅबलेट घेतले, आपण त्याच्यापैकी एकच टॅबलेट आपण वेग करून घेतली, एक स्टेटेड अमाऊंट, समजा 5 ग्राम घ्या, 10 ग्राम घ्या, 2 ग्राम घ्या, या स्टेटेड अमाऊंटला काय म्हणतो? आपण इन्क्रिमेंट म्हणतो. देन ग्रॉस सॅम्पल कशाला म्हणायचं? द सॅम्पल प्रिपेअर्ड बाय मिक्सिंग द इन्क्रिमेंट 2-3 इन्क्रिमेंट घेतली आपण, पोर्शन घेतली आणि ते मिक्स केलं तर त्या सॅम्पलला आपण काय म्हणतो? ग्रॉस सॅम्पल म्हणतो. त्याच्यानंतर आहे सबसॅम्पल कशाला म्हणायचं? अ स्मॉलर सॅम्पल प्रोड्यूस इन अ स्पेसिफाईड मॅनर बाय सब डिव्हिजन ऑफ द ग्रॉस सॅम्पलचं आपण सब डिव्हिजन केलं, 4-5 पार्ट केले त्याचे, आणि त्याच्यातला असा पार्ट घेतला त्याच्यामध्ये पूर्ण इसेन्शियल कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स असतील त्या बल्कचे, जे ग्रॉस सॅम्पलचे, त्याच्यामध्ये इसेन्शियल कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक गुणधर्म असतील, तशा सॅम्पलला आपण काय म्हणतो? सबसॅम्पल म्हणतो. देन नेक्स्ट वन इज ॲनालिसिस सॅम्पल. कशाला म्हणायचं ॲनालिसिस सॅम्पल? जे काही वेड अमाऊंट ऑफ आपण ॲनालिसिससाठी सबस्टन्स घेणार, समजा आपल्याला ॲनालिसिस करायचं, त्याचा कंपोनंट डिटरमाइन करायचे, त्याच्यासाठी आपण जी काही अमाऊंट घेणार आहोत, वे करून घेणार आहोत, त्या अमाऊंटला आपण ॲनालिसिस सॅम्पल म्हणतो. व्हॉट इज ॲनालिसिस सॅम्पल? An accurately weighed amount of the substance or subsample taken by the analyst for a test is known as the analysis sample. Okay, this is about the revision of the last chapter. Today we are going to learn the next part of this chapter that is nothing but that is nothing but the theory of sampling. Now see, what is the theory of sampling? What is the need of theory of sampling? We use the some statistical rule during the quantitative analysis. Such a statistical rule law is nothing but a law of statistical regularity. The theory of sampling is based on certain statistical laws. ही theory आहे सॅम्पलिंगची, ती कशावर डिपेंड आहे? इट इज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन दी व्हॉट सर्टेन स्टॅटिस्टिकल लॉज. काही स्टॅटिस्टिकल लॉजवर ही थिअरी डिपेंड आहे. वन ऑफ द लॉज on which the theory of sampling is based is the law of statistical regularity. What is the name of that law? The name of that law is the statistical regularity. So this is the one of the law. हे काय आहे statistical regularity? एक नियम आहे, स्टॅटिस्टिकचा नियम आहे, म्हणजे सॅम्पलिंग कशी करायची. ओके, सो which is stated as, what is the statement of this law, statistical regularity, law of statistical regularity? If one part of a population or universe, population or universe means what? The bulk solution, bulk sample. If one part of a population or universe varies in one direction, the another equally big part of the population varies in the opposite direction. Means what? The one part of the population or universe varies in one direction, then similarly another equally big part of the population varies in the opposite direction and vice versa. So what happened? एखादा पार्ट, आपण स्टॅटिस्टिकल रेग्युलरिटी लॉ काय सांगतो? एखादा पार्ट एका डायरेक्शननं, युनिवर्सचा किंवा पॉप्युलेशनचा पार्ट एखाद्या डायरेक्शननं व्हॅरी होत असेल, चेंज होत असेल, तर त्याच्या विरोधामध्ये दुसऱ्या वेमध्ये, त्याच्याच सिमिलर वेमध्ये काय होईल? दुसरा पार्ट, इट इज व्हॉट दी व्हॅरीज इन द ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन, त्याच्या विरुद्ध दिशेने वाढत जातो. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस लॉ, a moderately large number of samples chosen at a random from the universe are almost sure on an average to possess the characteristics of the universe. Means what? When we choose the universe or the sample from the universe or bulk material are almost sure on the average, ऑन ॲन ॲव्हरेज आपल्याला काय मिळेल? ऑन ॲन ॲव्हरेज सॅम्पल, त्याच्यामध्ये जे कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आहेत युनिवर्सचे ते कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स मिळतील. हे असा हा लॉ सांगतो. म्हणजे ऑन ॲन ॲव्हरेज त्याचे पूर्ण कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक, त्याचे गुणधर्म आपल्याला मिळतात. इन रँडम सॅम्पलिंग, एव्हरी पोर्शन ऑफ द बल्क मटेरियल हॅज ॲन इक्वल चान्स ऑफ बीइंग selected and the method has an equal chance of being selected, and the method assumes no bias or prejudice in the selection. In the random sampling, what is the sampling? The types of sampling are there. One is the systematic sampling, another one is the random sampling. So in random sampling, the possibility or the chance of being sample selected, chance of the being selected, and the method assumes to no bias or prejudice. So in random sampling, every portion of the bulk material has an equal chance of being selected, and method has no equal chance of being selected, and method assumes to bias or prejudice in the selection. So there is no bias, no prejudice, no consideration during the selection or selected methods for the bulk material. In case of the random sampling, every portion of bulk material has an equal chance of the being selected. So in the random sampling, there is no the bias or prejudice or the consideration. What is bias or prejudice? It is the consideration. Some part may be present, some part may be absent. So it is equal chance. That is the equal chance of being selected, and the method has an equal chance of the methods assumes no bias or the no prejudice in the selection of the sample. म्हणजे काय असेल? इथं जेव्हा आपण रॅन्डम सॅम्पलिंग करतो बल्क पोर्शनमधून, जेव्हा रॅन्डम सॅम्पलिंग करतो प्रत्येकाची संधी कशी असेल बल्क मटेरियलमधून इक्वल चान्स मिळेल. कशामध्ये? तर प्रत्येक त्याचा पार्ट सिलेक्ट होण्यासाठी इन्व्हर्समधून पोर्शनचा इक्वल चान्स असेल आणि त्याच्यामध्ये प्रिज्युडाइज किंवा आपण काय म्हणतो एक कल्पना करणं काहीच राहणार नाही. म्हणजे आहे रिअल बल्क म्हणजे चान्स मिळेल तुम्हाला. म्हणजेच काय असेल इक्वल चान्स ऑफ दी बीइंग वॉट दी सिलेक्टेड अँड मेथड does not assume any assumption or no any bias or prejudice in the selection because there is no error. There is no prejudice or bias means what? There is no error. Random sampling does not means selection of sample in a what unsymmetric or the careless manner. Means if random sampling is there, it means not it taken as a what careless method or the unsymmetric method. It only means selection of the sample without any prejudice and in a manner that gives full freedom to the operation of the chance of factor. So it is not any consideration, any prejudice. Such type of sampling must be there, such type of sample must be there. It is a equal chance of the it gives the full freedom to the operation of the chance or operation for the factor, that is what the whatever may be the sample selected. Another statistical law is the law of inertia of large numbers. First one is the law of what? The statistical regularity, and another one law, next law is the what? Law of inertia of large numbers. So statistical law is the what? Law of inertia of the large number. What is the statement of this law? If follow from the law that if a large number of samples are drawn from different parts of the bulk material, then the probability that the gross sample will be represent the bulk material is quite high. What is the statement? If large number of the sample are drawn from the different parts of the bulk material, then the probability of that the gross sample will represent the bulk material is quite high. What it means? If we took the sample from the various part of the bulk material, the number of samples are taken for the analysis and get mixed, then it is the high probability. It gives the high probability of the the bulk material to get all the characteristics in the bulk material. The material has a high probability to get the correct gross sample or what exact gross sample. That is to say, the larger the size of the sample and more the number of samples drawn, the greater the probability that the gross sample will possesses the characteristics of the bulk material. See how this what if we take the large number of or large sample size, that is bulk material, then we have the more chances of getting the characteristics of all the bulk material. If we took what bulk material, then simply what is the if we take the example, if we take 1 kilogram of any substance and from 1 kilogram we will get 1 gram 2 or 4 grams and mix it, then we'll get the majority of the characteristics what included within this sample. That is so it means that the gross sample, it means that what the bulk sample, what we will get the gross sample from the bulk sample, whatever the characteristics of that bulk sample, which is what also the characteristics of that gross sample. That is the what? A law of what? The law of inertia of large numbers means whatever the large number of samples taken, then will what indirectly get the majority of the characteristics of bulk material within the gross sample. This is an agreement with observations that the experimental mean, that is x bar, is what x bar is the mean uh, is the statistical term. Mean means we what sum up all these values and divide these values by number of observation, that is nothing but the mean is nothing but the sum of all the observations divided by what is the sum of all the values and divided by number of observation. So such x bar mean this arrangement of the observation that the experimental mean x bar approaches the true mean, whatever that is true mean is nothing but the mu, when the hypothetical infinite number of the measurements are made. The statistical method have shown that reliability of the sample is proportional to the square root of the sample size. So whatever the sample size increases, the reliability that is what decreases. Sample square root, it is what the sample what is it is the relationship is what reliability is the directly proportional to the square root of that the sample size. Whatever the sample size increases, reliability also increases. Not is doesn't mean that the reliability is inversely proportional, it is directly proportional. Means what, whatever the reliability sample size increases means the number of bulk materials, the size of bulk material or the gross sample increases, the reliability, or we are getting the probability of the all characteristics of the compound or all. 30 मिनिटला थांबलं काय ना. So this is what about the sampling theory of sampling. In last lecture we have learned about the what is sampling, and in this lecture we are dealing with the theory of sampling. So this is sufficient for today's lecture. If you have any queries regarding the sampling, please comment in the YouTube comment box. What is the sampling, what is the definition, sample procedure, inverse population, sampling unit, increment, gross sample, subsamples, analysis sample. And today we had learned about the theory of sampling. What is the need of sampling? There are two laws of the sampling. One is the what the one law is the law of statistical regularity, as well as the second law is the nothing but law of large number of inertias. So these are the different laws which is used for the during the sampling. So this is about the theory of sampling. If you have any queries regarding this, please put your comments in the YouTube comment box and keep watching. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thanks a lot.